Hey guys, weekly video. I'm just gonna quickly jump into it. Dogs might bark in the background. I don't have an editor. I don't want an editor. We're going to do this raw. Let's begin. Okay, so Bitcoin, again, it's just ranging like I said it would. But let's take a look at something. So, okay, there's our range low. It's the lowest point made. Okay, our high. Okay, that was the highest point made before we had multiple deviations. Now, the most important point for me, and as price action develops, everything changes, is actually this supply zone here. Okay, above this supply zone, above 102, basically this resistance here, above this resistance, then we are going to full send on Bitcoin. But to be honest, I can see something like this happening. Okay, we have this little demand zone, right? We have consolidation. This consolidation is happening under resistance here. In an uptrend, consolidation under resistance is very bullish, and we are bull flagging. So this can easily break out, and I can see price action going up into the supply zone, right? Coming back down. This will take a few days for it to happen, and then just continue to range here. But eventually, if we break this red box, right, and flip it, we are going to go for the highs. Okay, again, my target for this cycle top is around 120 to 130. Doesn't mean we're going to get it, but if we take out this red box and flip it, which we haven't, right? Even when we broke out over here, it was just a deviation. We failed to flip it to support. But if we flip this to support, first target is the all-time highs, and then like 115 and 125-ish. But we got to play level by level. We have a huge level of supply here. So we break out from this consolidation, probably sends us into it. And if I were to draw fibs from the highs down to the swing low, golden pocket comes around that major resistance area between basically 102 to 102.7, which is that resistance area. So this is going to be, unless we have some type of major god candle like we have down here. But I can see us breaking out from this current resistance into the supply, back down, range a little bit, let alts do their thing, and then eventually, Bitcoin takes control again. So I think if we set bids in this area around 105.5 down to 103.5, we have support, right? Yeah, we have the deviation. So setting bids here, and this would be most likely a a daily close below this level, and then we can cut it. Okay, but I think that is a good area to play long. Otherwise, I'm not going to be shorting this market. If you are shorting, I feel sorry for you, but there's no reason to short when everything is up unless you're taking scalps. Don't be that person that's going to swing short an uptrend. These next few weeks are going to be bullish, but the reason why I think we have a dip is going to be, we're going to be pumping into the inauguration, and then I personally would love us to, have a dip. Giant fuck you to Donald Trump, right? Huge, not a huge dip, but in the supply zone, right? We dip like 5%, and then come back into this demand area, this 8-hour order block, and then pump. Okay, so this is a soft one day closure, and hopefully, we come back into it, put in some type of right inverse head and shoulders. Here's the neckline, and then continue the grind up. All right. Again, I'm not going to be shorting anything, but if you are looking to short, most likely this area would be the area to short. Stops somewhere above here. entry around 102.6. Maybe you can DCA to like 104 and stops around 105.5 and then target down there. I'm not doing that, but I'm just giving, every single viewpoint on my end, bullish and bearish, because I am a trader. So that's what I'm looking at for Bitcoin. If we are unable to flip 102.5 or 6 to support, then it's just going to be a range within here. We're not going to be talking about this 85K level until this mid-range level around 93, well, 92 to be exact. This is your mid-range. Okay, until this level is lost, right? So until that 92 level is lost, then we can talk about 85. But until then, we focus on the current price action, right? So I expect some more consolidation, let some alts run, let ETH outperform a little bit, and then, Bitcoin will eventually take over, all right? Speaking of ETH, I don't know, in the Discord, I gave, my call on ETH. So this is what, okay, this is what I'm seeing on ETH. Okay, so same type of PA here, right, where price goes up, right, comes back down, then we have some type of consolidation, price goes up, comes back down, we have consolidation before the breakout. Now we do have supply here, so it makes sense to reject here. Okay. However, ETH is putting in a very strong show currently. So I can see us going to like 3,700-ish and then coming back down. We have demand over here. Okay. We also have an SR point. See how it was resistance? We flipped it to support. We broke down, right? Resistance, resistance. We broke out and we never flipped this to support. Right? So if I were to draw fibs from swing lows from here up to here, right? The reversal fibs and the golden pocket comes around the demand zone. However, I would love, and this is my play that I want to get into, around 35.50 for a long. I'm front running that support to 35.50. Sorry, I am front running that SR point. Okay. We have a little broadening wedge forming, right? But ETH looks bullish. There's no reason to short it. I would love a dip into, like I said, this area to go long. Stops below support, targeting 4K. If ETH goes to 4K, I don't think this resistance holds. I think it's actually going to break above. So I don't know if we get this dip. It's been holding really well. 35.90-ish has been holding support, so I got to keep an eye on it. But if we get a dip to 35.50-ish, you're going to buy all the way down to 34.80-ish, and then target, 37, 39, 4K from there. All right, that's my plan on ETH. Price action looks very similar, so I'm not really changing it. Now, like I said, we have the supply zone here. Right? This looks very similar to Bitcoin's supply zone. So if we do reject from here, and this is the most probable area to reject from, if we flip 3,700, then we're going to go higher to 39. It's going to be back to this range. But hoping for a rejection here, right, we're making higher highs, higher lows. If we put in a lower high, break down below here, and do something like that, then I think we can get our fill. Otherwise, currently the support around 35.80-ish is holding, so we could get another long in that area. But if we do come back down to there, people are going to start calling for an inverse head and shoulders, and they have no idea what they're talking about. So I'm keeping an eye on this. If I do, switch my play, I'll give it in the Discord only. But I do think ETH is going to outperform Bitcoin in the short term, and alts are going to run because of it, right? Speaking of ETH running, if you actually do think that it's going to continue, you want to focus on the betas. All right, so the strongest beta is probably going to be LDO. You have OP as well. The reason for that is because, watch this, here, let's go to the daily. Let me get my ETH chart back up as well. Okay, so let's do some math here, and let's take this Friday candle from open to close, okay, 5%. Let's do the same exact thing for LDO, this Friday candle. Okay, from open to close. All right, now focus has been on ETH, but if ETH is pumping 4.5% and LDO pumped, you know, 4%, check this out. After that, from that time forward, okay, another 16%, where ETH has only pumped 2. So if you think that ETH is going to continue pumping, you want to focus on the betas. OP, like I said, and LDO. I prefer to go with LDO, and this is where we could possibly get into a position. Okay. So if we take a look at the weekly here, all right, we currently are at resistance, all right? And every single time that we broke down, and I mean, this weekly looks really good, but every single time we're above the resistance and we break above, see we had multiple rejections here, but we broke above, flipping that support yields us a giant move to the upside, all right? Now, you can get a trigger on the flip on a lower time frame. Notice how we are consolidating under resistance here, right? And then we have this breakout. So you can get that flip on a lower time frame, maybe a 4-hour or an 8-hour. Okay, but this looks really good to continue to run. All right. If we get that deeper pullback on ETH, and by the deeper pullback, I'm talking about that 35.50 level, then a good area to long is going to be the support around $1.97. So some type of play could look something like this. Stop loss probably, yeah, somewhere here. And you are targeting like $2.35-ish to $2.40-ish. So about a 4.3-hour trade. Price action looks very similar, right? You have a possible rising wedge forming here. So if we get that deeper pullback, 197-ish, stops below, target this area of resistance. Okay? That's what I'd be looking for. Otherwise, if we don't get that dip, then right, you're waiting for this flip to happen. See, we had resistance. Again, rejections. This is the breakout candle. You want the retest to happen, close above, and then you have a small, I'm talking about very, very small risk, stops below, right, targeting higher. Okay, and 1, 2, 3, 4 rejections here. This could continue to, reject from here. So if you guys really want to short, this would be the area to do so. I am not going to be shorting the markets unless it's a scalp, but this would be most likely your short around 234-ish. Stops around 240, and you're targeting, back down to here. You decide where to take profits yourself. If I take this play, I will only give it in the Discord. Otherwise, I'm not taking it. But I'm just giving my viewpoints on all these. Okay. So that's LDO. I do think LDO will run the hardest if ETH continues to pop. Now let's take a look at Sol. Sol is going to underperform in my opinion, but it will eventually shine again. The reason why is because Sol ETH, watch this. Let me change this. So Sol is underperforming to ETH right now. Okay, it's at a very crucial point, and the focus is back on ETH as it should be. Okay, so this could come back down to the trend line, and ETH is going to perform, but possible double top forming here as well. Right? We have demand zone. We have SR point. Right? We had resistance. Well, support, right? And then it turned into resistance. So we never had the retest, but we have demand zone. So something like this, and this is the exact play that I'm in and waiting to fill. Okay, stops below 200 and targeting much higher. All right, so right now, okay, trend changed once we broke out of here, right? This was putting in higher highs the whole entire time. Now we are bullish. We actually did break out as well from the downtrend. So coming back down to here would most likely not only be an SR test of these two, or SR test and a support touch, and this would be a daily, a 12-hour closure, but we would also continue to be putting in another higher low and then starting the grind up a little bit higher. All right, but if we continue to go higher, ETH is going to outperform SOL. So just keep that in mind. All right. By the way, the target of this descending triangle that we had here has almost been reached. So coming back down here would yield us, if we get the fill, right, at least like a 7% move. That's technical targets of this descending triangle. All right, so that's what I'm looking for on SOL. I'm not really looking to short, but you have a very good short opportunity around this area if you do want to take it. But I'm looking for something, you know, move up into this 227 area, come back down. It's going to be very hard to break above this area, but if we are able to reclaim it and flip it to support, this will teleport to $300 really fast. But you have your left shoulder, here's your right, here's your head, right? Go into the rejection point, come back down, then you have some type of right shoulder forming, and that will yield you technical targets of about 280-ish, right? You have your all-time highs. Okay, so this will break out and target 280 if we are able to flip and reclaim this resistance here. All right. So that's what I'm looking for on SOL. Details of this play are only given in the Discord again, but that's what I'm looking for on SOL. And again, if you want to take a short attempt, this would be the area to do so. All right. Now, one of my favorite setups is currently playing out on AVAX. It is the double bottom Adam and Eve pattern. Okay, so you have a bearish trend, right? You have the V. Here's your neckline, right? Here's the cup, double bottom, right? And then if you have the neckline, you have a bullish trend starting. So you have higher highs and higher lows. There's the breakout. There's the retest. This should yield technically, again, technical targets again into that supply zone, right? So AVAX has been holding pretty strong. I would like to see this continue to get some bids. Again, I don't mind this coming back down to this green area to get some of this liquidity from this demand zone. But I do think if the market continues its grind up AVAX will be an outperformer. Not only that, but AVAX BTC looks bullish to me. Okay. Resistance, we are breaking above. Higher highs, higher lows. Maybe can be putting in some type of rising wedge, but I doubt it. I don't like that rising wedge. Not clean, but same thing here as well. Now this one is much cleaner, as you can see. Okay, downtrend. Here's the V. Here's the cup. There's the breakout. There's the retest. It's much cleaner here. Okay, and technical targets of this is around the supply zone here. Okay, so the Adam and Eve has perfectly retested on the BTC pairing, meaning if Bitcoin is to pump, or hopefully ETH is to pump, but this is a BTC pairing chart. If ETH is to pump, I think AVAX will be a strong performer, which is why I've positioned myself in AVAX and looking for those lower bits to fill, targeting the supply zone here. Excuse me. All right. Another coin that I've positioned myself into recently is Hype. Okay. Now, Hype was in a downtrend. It had its run up. It looked like Tia, right, broke the trend, made lower lows. But just recently, it has broken trend to the upside. So holding above this $23.64 on the, where we're about to close the weekly, okay? But this has signaled a structured change. What do I mean by that? It has now made a higher high, okay? Broken above this previous lower high, flipping it into support, and should continue a new trend that way. All right, so not only that, we have broken down from the downtrend as well. So a retest of this level makes sense to me, and hopefully continuing its grind to the upside. First target is around $30-ish. And then I think this continues much more higher than $30, but we're talking about levels, and that is where I plan to take my first target, my first TP. Now, this no longer matters. That's what I was drawing. If we were to reject here to make a lower high, I was looking for more of a dip into this demand zone. That is no longer valid. So looking at a SR test or a retest of this downtrend here, maybe another demand touch, and then go higher. All right, so I think Hype is going to be a very good play in the short to mid-term. And I do think that this coin can eventually 5 to 10x. Eventually, I'm not talking this cycle, but eventually I do think that this is going to be a hidden gem. All right, I won't be here when it does. Maybe I am, I don't know. But if it does it next cycle, I won't be here. I'm looking for a modest 3 to 4x with this, and I'll be happy. But I'm just going to take it level by level, take profits along the way, and be happy with the results. Right, so those are the coins that I'm looking at. Obviously, I have other coins on my radar. I'll be sharing those in the Discord when the time comes. But for now, my focus is on these, and hopefully we get a little dip in, ETH and the rest of the market to get my bids. And I do think that next week and the week after, leading to the inauguration, we do, pump, and we could have a dump a little bit after, allow some time for consolidation. Then, the rest of Q1, I think, is going to be a straight moonshot, higher. I've been mentioning this prior. I don't think that you guys should be shorting, alts in general. I think that any pullback is a good buying opportunity, or if you are not exposed in the altcoin market currently, I think that is one to be, picking up and holding for the next, 2 to 3 months. Not financial advice, but I think if you throw money into any single coin right now and come back in April, it will be significantly higher. All right, so do your own research, and we'll take it from there. That is it from me, and I will see you guys next week. Thanks, everyone.